What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, in today's video, we are going over Solana as we are continuing our pullback that we have been seeing over the last few weeks. Now, we have been anticipating that a big move to the upside is coming as soon as we clear this pullback, and I'm still under that belief. So in today's video, we're going to talk about what the indicators are telling us, how I'm seeing these charts, and when would I be buying? Is it now? Is it not now? And why? So with that being said, let's go ahead. Let's get started. So first and foremost, what we can see, of course, is that we have started creating something of a descending wedge here. Now, generally speaking, these are going to break out to the top side. It is very uncommon that we see a breakout to the downside unless aided by some bad news, some China BS, or something of that nature. So with the amount of support that we are going to see between, $209 to $194, I would be incredibly surprised if we do not break out to the top side. So we do have a bullish pattern forming on the charts. Not only that, though, if we do pull up our RSI, there is a massive bullish divergence happening here, which is always a fantastic sign. Now, the way in which we can identify this is paying close attention to the lows that we are putting in. So as you can see back here on October 27th, we put in this low. From there, we came back to put in a low on November 18th, spanning over, a little bit over 3 weeks here. Now, in that same time span, we put in this low and then put in a lower low. So as you can see the difference, we put in a higher low, we put in a lower low. This is going to be bullish divergence. Now, think about this. Let's kind of make bullish divergence very easy to understand. Once we hit this level at 57.48 on the RSI, that was enough support on the RSI. That was enough, of a level of strength to enable us to see growth of, let's see what that growth was. That was growth of roughly 42 to 43%. Now, we are at a higher level than we are now. The price is higher than it was at this point, but our RSI has much more room to grow to the upside. So if we were able to see a growth from this point up to 42 to 43%, think about where the growth from where we are now could be if we do see a very similar move, right? I mean, that could be accompanied by a move of over 50-60%. That's very within the realm of possibility because we are enabling ourselves to have that amount of room with this bullish divergence that is forming on the RSI. Now, if we do go ahead and we look at the MACD on the 4-hour chart specifically, we can start to see this convergence that we always look for happening. Now, what that means is that the blue line and the orange line are starting to converge into each other. Once we see this bullish cross happen between the blue line and the orange line, in which the blue line comes up from under the orange line and continues through it, likelihood is we are going to see a continuous move of bullishness from Solana's price. The last time we saw that, of course, we did see this move roughly of about 10 to 11%, and I do believe that with the levels of support that are below us now, if we were to see that similar move, that would allow us to break out to the top side of our wedge. Now, we have not started to see any of this bullish convergence happening just yet on the daily MACD, but considering the fact that we were looking at the 4-hour MACD starting to converge, I do believe that 1 or 2 green days creates that convergence pattern for us, in which we will see that breakout to the top side, in which our blue line, of course, crosses again through the bottom side of our orange line. So all of this to go ahead and say that there's a very strong likelihood that we do start to see this big push from Solana very soon. Now, is it going to be right now or is it going to be tomorrow? Of course, you can never know, but what I will say is that we have very strong levels of support directly below us. Now, the most notable being the 0.618 to the 0.786 Fibonacci zone. If we draw a Fibonacci from our October 27th low all the way up to the high that we set here on November 6th, you can see that we have come down directly to our Fibonacci 618 to 786 zone right around $209 and are attempting to hold it as support. And if we're able to bounce off this zone, we have seen historically that can lead to some extreme gains. The last time that we saw a retracement of that nature was going to be back in September, right? So if we go ahead, we draw our Fibonacci from the low that we put in on August 25th all the way to the high that we put up here on September 9th. You can see that we came back, we dipped directly right into this zone, kind of just put our toes in the pool, and then we continued back upwards to see growth of over 100%. As you can see, from that time that we touched that zone all the way to the top side, growth of over 123%. So all of this to say that we are now testing and touching a very key level of support. And if we are to see this zone hold between $209 to $194 and a breakout to the upside of this descending wedge, I am still expecting a push still upwards of around $300 to $350. So overall, if you should be buying at this exact moment, personally, I would say no. I would be waiting for the break of this wedge. And once we see the break of that wedge, do understand that if you buy here, there's a strong chance that the price pulls back towards some of these lower levels again, establishes some support before continuing upwards. We see that happen all the time, and I have no reason to believe it wouldn't happen again. We saw it happen back here, of course, when we saw the breakout, retest, continuation, and we saw it back here in that, in this bigger move, we saw the breakout, retest, continuation. So likelihood is once we break out, we've done so much to get out of it that it will need to come back down and flip all those levels of resistance as support. But once that is the case, I do expect a big move back up towards $300 to set that new all-time high. So that is exactly what I would be looking for right now. I do still have $500 plus in my sights for Solana. I think if we're able to hold some support and continue back up towards the top, towards the end of the year, we could be looking at $500 to $570 Solana. And I do think that is still very realistic and within the realm of possibility. So even though, we are up in the Patreon, of course, we did make this buy at $146. I still do believe that there is growing potential, and I would still be willing to be entering, even though my dollar cost average is still way down in some of these lower levels. Okay. And so that's going to be about it for today's video on Solana. Things are looking real bullish. Look for that support establishment. Once that support gets established, the breakout should come soon thereafter. On that breakout, a bunch of great buying entries should be right around the corner. Of course, I will update you guys as this does progress. So do keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on these levels, especially that descending wedge, and I will see you all next time. Peace.